everybody, welcome to Sparksmith with Brandon, helping you see and be seen. This week's live, I've got a couple little toys here that I've been wanting to test out and share with you guys. Just some sample bulbs that we've gotten, a sample bow tie, and some little projectors, and then this 8-gang switch panel with a Bluetooth app. I have not played with any of these, so this is completely off the cuff. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's all stuff that we've got in the shop, and I thought I'd test it out. So if you want to check this out, this is one I know a lot of people have been asking about, the bow tie. Now this is one sample that we ordered. They asked if, what style they had. Different styles that were like a white lens around the edge with chrome in the middle. They had one that was all black. So I chose the smoked one. Sometimes that's a safe start just to see how good the smoked is, because if the smoked is good, then the clear one's going to be even better. In this case, we're going to light this up and see what happens. It could be great. It could be... oh my. So it does do... let's see, I'll do it again for you. It does kind of do a startup animation, but it's all splotchy. I don't know if you could see this. Like, it's first of all, it's not very bright, and it's like they spray painted a clear lens to kind of make it look black. And so in complete darkness this would probably show up okay, but like, it's really just in person, it's very underwhelming. So back to the drawing board on these. I am trying to find a good product here for the light up bow tie. So this one, we'll call this a fail. Luckily the sample didn't cost me too much money. I'll see if I can find an application for it, or maybe we'll find one of you out there in the wide world of internet that has a car that this will fit. This actually will not fit the Silverado that I'm aware of. I know it won't fit the Cat Eye Silverados. The bow tie is actually a different shape. Like, even the bend of it and the angles of everything are different than what's on the Cat Eye. But I thought, if the company can make this one, maybe they can make one for the Cat Eye. Well, looks like we're going back to the drawing board on that one. So the search continues. If you were wondering about bow ties, that's the latest. Next up, we have... I was just toying around with, because I have one customer asking about LED projectors. It's this company. I apologize. Hey guys. That I don't remember the name of this company, but they are retrofitting imported skylines with LED projectors. So taking those factory halogen projectors out and putting something like this in. This is one sample that I ordered from one company, and we've been usually sticking with the NHK brand, and I've been very happy with them. But I found another company that also produces a similar form factor. It's a very compact little bi-LED projector. So this is one of those, like, if you're going to do a retrofit in a car of yours and you're kind of limited on space, this one's nice. It does have a threaded shaft to it that can be removed. So if you're putting it in a vehicle that had projectors to begin with, you can take that off and just use these mounting points and maybe some of our universal projector mounting kits. It's got like some hardware that can make this fit with just about anything. So not a bad projector. Like, this is going to be, we're like 3 feet from the wall, so it's not really going to show you what like nighttime output is, but overall it's a nice even distribution of light. It's also got the shutter for the high beam, so you can see. And again, this close to the wall, it's not really a true example, but I would not hesitate to put this into a car. If it was one of my personal cars or something, I think this would be a really good projector, especially for like a daily driver or something like that. If you're just looking to upgrade the projector that's inside the headlight that you already have. So this is, I believe, the 2.5-inch lens version, or this is, let's see. Oh, they're the same. I must have ordered a pair. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've ordered these. I don't remember. I thought I ordered 2 different ones. I guess I ordered 2 of the same, just as well. If I come across somebody that's wanting a retrofit, these little guys would be a nice choice. So we'll stick them on a shelf somewhere until such time we have a use for them. So not bad. Not super expensive. This technology has really come a long way. LED projectors these days, there's endless possibilities out there if you're looking for a good retrofit kind of setup. This is one of them. If you're looking for recommendations, just email us, support@sparksmith.com, and we'd be happy to set you up with the parts you need for your retrofit, or we'd be happy to help you out with the whole custom rebuild. Bulbs next. So these were some, I'm always a bit iffy when somebody sends me sample bulbs. Like it was when I ordered the projectors. When I ordered these, they were like, hey, we can send you some sample bulbs. I was like, it's free, I'll take 3. But they sent me these, and you see right away, it's big, chunky bulb. It would still fit within the form factor of most standard bulbs. This would be a 7443, so like Nissan's, Toyotas, that kind of thing will use this. It does have a built-in fan, so it's bound to be a fairly powerful set of chips. I do not have my digital power supply that can tell me how much power this draws, but we can look that up later. But I can tell you that it is quite a bright bulb. And this is going to depend on the application as to just how good of a bulb this is. And that's the funny thing about LEDs, is you can have the brightest chipset in the world and all the heat sinks and fans and draw all the power you want, but if the optics don't work, you're not going to get anything out of it. In fact, we'll go look at it in a minute. I've got a 97 Ford Super Duty sitting in the shop today getting some lighting upgrades. So if you want to take a look at an old Power Stroke that's getting a new lease on life, we'll go take a look at that in just a minute. And it has a good example of how some really quite bright LED chips that were put into the headlights it did have, the chips are bright, but the output is just almost non-existent. But we took some new LED bulbs with smaller LED chips that give a significantly better output. And a lot of that has to do with optics. Speaking of, the other pair that they sent me, instead of just being a brute force kind of bulb like this, where it's just some chips and a heat sink and you're hoping that it'll work, you've got this set here. It is fanless. There does not appear to be any kind of heat sink on it. But I think this one's going to be a dual brightness, like a low and a high, like you'd have on a park turn combo kind of bulb. So these have more of like a built-in optics set. So they kind of put, and you can see kind of depending on the angle will change just how bright this thing is. It's only flickering because I've just barely got it connected, so I'm not going to fault the bulb there. But yeah, it's a dual brightness. It's actually quite a bright bulb for the size that it is. But this is one, I don't know if it's going to show up on here. You can kind of see how the optics form a pattern, like an actual output. So there again, depending on the application, you could have a bulb like this with good optics that produces a better output than just something that's brute force with a fan on it. Because this one, you're not going to get any output, obviously, from the end. It's going to rely on the radial output and whatever reflectors this thing is going in. So both, they're not bad bulbs. They don't feel like cheaply made stuff. I don't see that there's something we're going to carry. It's, again, these were just samples that they sent us, so I thought I'd check them out. They're pretty novel. I don't hate them. If I had room for them in the catalog, I would probably add them to it. But right now, we're going to stick with the stuff that we have, the Sparksmith brand, working with a company that we know and trust, and we're familiar with their quality of product, and I've been very happy with them. So it's fun to play around with this stuff, because you never know, you might find something that's just absolutely mind-blowing. These are interesting. They're not a bad bulb, but I don't think it's something worth jumping on the bandwagon and ordering a few thousand of them and hoping that people will buy them. Last thing here, and this is one I'm only going to kind of play with this a little bit because there's a lot more to this than I could do on a single live stream. But I was approached by a company that I've ordered one or two things from before, And in fact, the light bar that is running on the 7, if you've ever seen that, they make a nice product. They do. It's not a bad company. They make some good products. And they asked if I wanted to try out this little 8-channel Bluetooth controlled light controller thing. So I haven't studied the specs on this, so I can't really speak too intelligently on it just off the cuff here. I can tell you that it basically is a control center with 8 outputs that you can control RGB stuff and high-powered stuff like off-road lighting, a big set of rock lights, something like that. If you aspire to people like Sam Hintermeister, who has just lights everywhere, and you want something with app control to be able to control all that stuff, one of these might be the answer. So this, first impressions, it does seem like a pretty nice kit. The wiring that all comes with it is nice heavy gauge wiring. It comes with a waterproof 80 amp circuit breaker. So you would have from the battery through this 80 amp circuit breaker into the control panel. Then you get your 8 outputs to go to whatever it is you want. There are some that are 5 amp, some that are 15 amp, and 2 that are 25 amp. So you've got a pretty substantial amount of power coming out. Oh, and it also has, cool. So it's got a 12 volt output, and then a blue, red, and green output. So, okay, this is interesting. So it's got RGB outputs, if you've got a standard 4-pin RGB setup, plus it has outputs for high-powered stuff. So if you had RGB stuff, so I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but this first one, like if you're running color-changing stuff, you'd have your 12-volt output, and then red, green, blue, which are actually ground controls, and so that would go out to all your color-changing stuff, and you could control it through this same app that controls the on-off function of the higher powered things. So it's kind of an all-in-one. Comes with the labels you would put on the control panel. So you've got your, what is it? Okay, it looks like it's got 8 outputs plus an on-off for the RGB. Now, I have not downloaded the app for this yet. I'll do a more thorough review of this. It's something I was going to install on the 7. And you would think wintertime is the perfect time to do that because I haven't been driving the car. You're not wrong, except that because it's wintertime, I've kind of forgotten about the car. But hopefully this will motivate me to get back into it and get that thing ready for springtime. So anyways, it appears to be a really good setup. Like I said, I will have to dive into this one deeper. I just wanted to kind of give my first impressions here. I don't even know how this thing's going to hook up, but we'll try it and see. So if I do positive there, make some bold assumptions that ground is negative, or ground is a black wire. I wonder, I must have to have this as power as well. There it goes. Okay, so I used my wire strippers here. Alright, so cool. So once I get power and ground applied to it, you can turn on and off all the things. If I recall correctly, the backlight of the buttons can actually be changed. Right now it's white for them all. If it stays on, you can see even the distribution block lights turn on and off to indicate which one has been activated. So I think that would make the setup on this thing a little bit easier. Just when you're trying to associate buttons here with outputs here, there's really no guesswork. They are labeled as well. So the whole thing is fully potted on the inside, so it's going to be a weatherproof, vibration resistant kind of system here, so you don't just have bare electronics hanging out. So yeah, this will be one that we need to find. Like I said, I need to find some time to put this on the 7 and program it into the RGB and the light bar and some other stuff, and just play around with it and see what kind of effects we can get out of this thing. So more to come on this guy. Pretty cool little piece of kit. I'm actually excited to play around with this one. But yeah, all this can kind of, we'll figure out how this goes back together later. Let's see. I was going to show you the old Ford that we have in here. Can you grab this and just kind of follow me? If you want to flip the camera around so you can see what you're recording. There. So this is a good friend of ours. He's been a long time customer, local guy. And he picked up this super clean Power Stroke not too long ago, and we've kind of slowly been doing little things to it here and there. The one thing it's in for today, and there'll be a longer video of this on YouTube, I think it's YouTube Shorts or something, just some time-lapse footage of replacing what it did have with what it now has. I've set it up so that these bars come on anytime the key's on, and then we're going to have a switchback bulb in the turn signal, some nice bright amber or white lights in the markers, and a fresh LED bulb in the middle. One thing I wanted to point out on this is, if you look at these, so this is the bulb that came out of it. And the yellow things, if you can see them, are cob or chip on board LEDs. It's kind of an older technology, and despite being giant chips, they're actually not that powerful, and even if they were, they're not going to do you much good. This one with the smaller chips is going to have an infinitely better output because it's designed to work with the optics of the headlight. And I go into a little more detail about this on the actual video for the truck. And I've talked about this stuff before, where so much of it is about the optics of the housing as well as the compatibility of the chipset that you've got. And I'll turn this on just so you can see. I'm looking at it from this angle, they're both going to look nice and bright and shiny. Now here's the crazy part, is if you like nice bright light, but if you turn around and look this way, so the one on your left is the new LED bulb, and if I step in front of it, on the right should be the output from this passenger side headlight, but we could turn the lights off and you could tell that like there's some light kind of vaguely applied over there. But you can see that with this one, it's a much more defined output. And a lot of that is attributed to the bulb having a smaller chipset. It's a more precise application of the light. So it doesn't have to be as bright. So again, you could look at it as oncoming traffic and all you're going to see is glare everywhere, just light in your eyes. And the worst part about that is everybody else sees it, but you can't see anything. But if you put the light where it's supposed to be, you can get a much better output. It's much safer for pretty much everybody. So that's one thing we're working on with this truck. It also has a set of taillights that are going in it. We'll be putting LED reverse lights and updating all of the interior lights to LEDs. So kind of modernize this thing just a little bit. Great truck, super low mileage. It's only like 300,000 miles on it. So it's kind of just getting broke in. It's his toy truck, and always love seeing him drive around town in it. Happy that we can help him see and be seen just a little bit better. In other news, we're going to be trying to drop some more YouTube videos, long form and short form stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. If you want to know when new stuff is getting released, feel free to head over to sparksmith.com and sign up for text and or email alerts. We don't spam you a whole lot. I try to keep it to a minimum, just things that I find important that I was like, hey, people might want to know about this. I also have a video, come here, I'll take a look at this, that I've been working on. This is one that I started recording like a week ago. I was like, maybe I can do this all in one shot, and well, that didn't happen. But I did start assembling it in, but I was basically going through the process that I do to show what all goes into. You've seen these before, talked about them on the live, where the standard one has amber here and then a static white light here, or I can set them up to where it's animated white in both sections as well as in the upper section. And there is a pretty big price difference between the two, but it's not just because the lights are different, it's because of the effort and time that goes into basically changing out all the guts of this thing to be something of my own design. So it's not just something that gets shipped in from overseas and I take it off a shelf and I ship it back out. This is stuff that I spend probably 3 or 4 hours on each set, making sure that everything is exactly the way I want it before I send them out. So I just thought it might be interesting to show you kind of the process that goes into hand building these headlight sets. So that's another one that hopefully tomorrow or the next day I'll finish recording and we can start editing and posting that one. So just another thing I've been working on. What else? Nothing much. My dear friend Hillary has been in charge of our say hi to Hillary. Hi, Hillary.
Hi.
Hillary has been doing a fantastic job of all of our social media stuff. And I have her to graciously thank for all of that. Unfortunately, her other job offered her a promotion and she had the audacity to accept it. She will be moving on to greener pastures and we wish her all the best. So thank you, Hillary, for everything you've done. And we have a new face in here, Jenna. Say hi, Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
Who will be filling that role and kind of stepping into it. So we're getting her trained up this week to keep the vibe going with all the social media stuff. So that's about it. I think things have finally warmed up here a little bit. We're above freezing, and I know for a lot of you, you're like, that's not a big deal. We were at -30, and my heart goes out to you, but I also say the borders are open. You can move south. Kidding. Anyway, I think that's it. I've probably yammered on enough. So stay tuned, sparksmith.com, and to all our socials for new and exciting stuff coming forth. I've got some more videos to drop. We've got some more stuff to record, and videos to edit, and orders to ship, and all the other things. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.